Okay, I think I'm live. I'm just going to hang out for a few minutes and wait for people to mill in, see if notifications are doing their thing. Oh, drink some coffee, get my notes ready. Get my notes ready. Hello, people. Come, people. Create a banner. Yeah. Here we go. Hey, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. I have to run to the store quickly, but I'll be listening in, but not chatting. Come here often. Ho, ho, ho. Let me also post this in the Discord. Let me post this on the Discord. Going into Anchor series at 10:30 Eastern. So that'll be a thing. And I posted it all over the Book of Faces. Maybe I should post it on Twitter as well. I don't know. It is kind of short notice. Hello, Brianna. We meet again. Absolutely. The sun has come out. Can you tell? The sun has come out. It is shining right through my blanket. Also, if you are looking to be writing with sprints and stuff, Zara Hoffman is currently streaming. Let me bring up her thing. Let me bring up her thing. Oh, Angela Ann just posted a thing. That's cool. But Sarah Hoffman is doing this thing. So, if you're looking to be constructive, besides working on your anchor series, unless that's the thing that you're doing, then I'm like bumping into my controllers. Oh, excuse me. Just the tiniest bit went down the wrong pipe. La 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 la. One more minute and then I'll get started. I don't know what this list is pertaining to, but because I didn't write a title. Excellent, excellent plan. And I'll go into why that's such a thing here, like in a bit, because everything revolves around the character. Everything. All right. Just discovered one of my MCs is the opponent of the other MC and their father and daughter. Ooh. That's fun. So is that like they're antagonists for each other? Like that's super cool to have one book basically from their perspective, and then like the other person is the antagonist. And then you take the perspective of the antagonist and see how, nobody's the bad guy, right? Nobody thinks they're the bad guy. Okay. I thought I turned off the spanner. There we go. Let's do this thing. Yeah, in a way, in the way of each other's wants and needs. Yeah. Just finished breakfast. Ready to get productive. That's awesome. If you are looking to do sprints, Zara Hoffman is doing sprints right now. Otherwise, I'm going to do this workshop. And I'm going to try and do it in a concise and brief manner because I kind of want to hang out with Lisa Daly. But her thing hasn't come up yet either. Her thing hasn't come up with... Oh, here it is. Popped right up. From 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Which reacts to Jacqueline Glenn, A Skeptic Guide to Wellness. Ooh. I like this Hearth Witch. Like, she's all right. All right. Their intentions are good, which makes it even more dramatic, it seems. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, nobody thinks they're the bad guy. They all have good intentions. All right. So, first off, there are 3 types of series, right? For writing a series in general, let alone an anchor series. 3 types. There's the dynamic, there's the static, or the standalone, and there's the episodic, right? So the dynamic is one arc over several books, and each one ends in a cliffhanger, right? So the idea is that it's like, for instance, the goal is to go to Mordor, right? But first they have to like get all the people together, and that's Fellowship. And then they need to get the information on how to get to Mordor, which is 2 Towers. And then they actually get to Mordor, which is Return of the King. Right? So it's one arc over 3 or 4 books, depending on how you look at it. Right? Because one's a prequel. It gets weird. Static or standalones is basically that each book is its own standalone, but they can be read in any order, kind of like Nancy Drew, right? They're like serialized a little bit. Each one is its own plot, and you can read them in any order. It doesn't really matter, but it would behoove you to read them in order because there's a chance that one might refer to a previous book. Usually these are done in mysteries or they're done in romances. Those are 2 very common standalone / serial static series. Episodic can be read out of order, but it's best if you read it in order. We'll get into branding and stuff too. All right. So, as Brianna mentioned, she's working on her character development, right? That is key, super key character development. Because, say, for instance, my anchor series that I'm working on, the whole overreaching plot is just character development. Each book, the theme is something that he has to overcome about his own personality and his own hubris, right? So I've got notes for my own thing in here. So let's say it's going to be episodic, right? You can read them out of order, but it would really behoove you to read them in order. I'm going to do 5 books. It's actually 4 with a prologue. What'll happen is it'll be book 1, book 1.5, as we go back in time and see his firsts for a lot of stuff. It's like a collection of short stories. And then book 2, it's super weird. But I'm doing it. You want to go back and forth regarding wins and setbacks, right? So if one book ends in a win, the next will begin with a setback, and vice versa. And the story elements have to evolve. So what we want to do is, I mean, you have an entire series to work with, right? So you want to dive in really deep. You want to consider big revelations. My revelations I did out of order, right? So I'm like, this needs to happen, and this needs to happen. And it started out as one big document. And then I realized I had 100,000 words of just notes. And so I divided it up into separate books. And I've got like 30,000 words in book 2 and probably 15,000 words in book 1 and probably 10,000 words plus in books 5, and book 1.5 is done. I just need to edit it and stuff. So you want to raise the stakes with each book, right? So while book 2 could be book 1, let's not do that. Let's save that, because the big revelation is going to have more punch if it's later in the series. So we want to build upon the severity of each problem. And with each book, we go deeper and deeper and deeper into his psyche, right? And the bad guy, the antagonist, is going to get more and more and more dangerous, right? Which is really fascinating. So the next question is how much to repeat from book to book, right? You want to put in just enough to like spark their memory, but don't overdo it. Don't like cut and paste the entire scene like from the previous book into the book 3 or whatever. Like just enough to be like, oh yeah, this character exists, and remember how he looks, remember like what kind of personality he had, like, you know, in that time before. Well, this is how he's grown since then, right? Let's see. So the anchor series should be well branded, and they should be clearly defined. So, which means, one, most of these intensity escalation is something I'm worried about. Yeah. So, which is why it helps to have, let me break out my series Bible. I strongly recommend writing a series Bible. I'm doing mine in paper because it's less confusing, frankly. That way, for each book, what I do is I have like a brain dump page. I list the characters. The main character, obviously, is going to be my Lorenzo Giovanni. He's my dude. My love interest, my mentor, and the conflict. Those are set in stone. And then I have 6 points that I want to hit. So the inciting incident, first plot point, second plot point, third plot point, climax, epilogue. Again, I'll run through that again. I write down, because I already know what his world looks like, what his normal day-to-day looks like. So what changes? What's the first plot point? What's the second plot point? What's the third plot point? What's the climax? And then what's the epilogue? And the epilogue should lead into the next book. I don't actually title it the epilogue in the book. It's just like a chapter just to kind of like sum everything up after the climax. That's it. It's all she wrote. I am trying to figure out how I should nail down the years. So book one happens between the years of 1995 and 1999, right? I basically take all of the characters that, especially the side characters that I'm doing, and I make them the 6 plot points, maybe 7 if I'm including the normal world. So for instance, I've got Taigi, who is a Native American shaman. She is a Sioux in South Dakota, which is something that I wanted to talk to Ginny about, most especially. I state her normal world and why she is involved in the group in the first place. And then what changes, what's the inciting incident for them? What is the first plot point in their in their arc, in their character arc, not just in the story as a whole. Hi pronoun. How's it going? Oh wait, here we go. Oh hi Spence. Geez, look at me not paying attention. I know it will come as it comes, and the best I can do is research things I'm interested and things that challenge me and continue to write regardless. Practice is important. Absolutely. I've written short stories, but I find it hard to truly be proud of any of them aside from 1 or 2. I'm still trying to find my voice, at least my style. I used I cut my teeth on these stories, and then I really used Hope's Chest to learn my craft. And so I think what you're doing with the short stories is really wise, is like just practice and edit your work and realize, and do that like every 6 months or so, like read through your stories and be like, figure out if they're like your voice has changed, and if you want to reword some things. If you decide that the thing is stupid, then you can change that too. One of my favorite quotes is from Elizabethtown. Fail hard and keep coming back. Make them wonder why you're still smiling. Yeah. Hi, pronoun. Hi, LR. Had to set up my nibs that I'm playing with today. Aru? I don't know what that is. Hi, Shelby. Woo. So I do the 6 points. I also, because I basically came up with the concept of the third book, or the second book rather, the second book first. I know what it is I need to refer to, because this is a game that lasted for 5 years, maybe a little longer. There was a lot of content, and I got to figure out what's important, right? So I write the third book, I make all the references that I want to make, and then I know what's important to mention and really dive deep into for book 1, right? Like I've got the notes here to mention the new girlfriend in the epilogue. I've got, I gotta explain who Mark is, because there's going to be a mission where I go hunting for him, right? So that's stuff that'll go into book 1. Oh, nibs for pens. Oh, cool. Cool. That's super exciting. Do you do calligraphy? Is that a thing you do? Or, oh, I just ate a banana, but I think I'm hungry. So I've got Taigi, I've got Kinisato, I've got the 3 trials for book 1. And then I reorganized book 2, which happens in 2005. 2010, I bump one of the main points in the beginning of the game. I bumped it to book 3. Ink drawing. Inktober thing. Granted, I've got 3 to ink today since I'm behind for Monday and Tuesday. I get that. I still haven't done my drawings for the day either. But I've been really bad. Basically, I've been like skipping the day and then drawing 4 pictures, because I'm doing 2 Inktober thingies, 2 challenges. So I'll draw 4 to catch up, and then I'll take the next day off, and then I'll draw 4 to catch up, and take the next day off. So I'm hoping today is not a day off. I'm hoping today I'm actually going to stay on target. Yeah, that's my hope. So my 3rd book, it looks like I need to rehash my main plot. So I've got inciting incident, plots 1, 2, 3, climax, epilogue. They're laid out, but I haven't filled them in yet with the main plot. I've got the subplot like anchored, like it is solid, because that was my focal point for book 3. So I need to up the risks, right? Up the risks again. I've got some subplots with Kayla, the Yama King, and some hunters that I need to do the things with. I need to figure out what's up with the Yama King. And then book 5, I actually got the, yeah. So this is in 2019, which means I started this book last year. Yes. Actually, it's a really good idea that I'm going through this. Then I plug everything into a beat sheet, a 30-day beat sheet, which I'll go into someday, and flesh everything out kind of like a snowflake method. So I've got my main plot points, right? And then how did they get to that plot point? Why do they have to get to that plot point? When, how, all of those things. What do they have to do? And then I do it by act. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4. And then I'm going to put in character sheets for my sub-characters, because I have a sheet for my main character. It's basically a book. I have it. I need to rehash the outline for book 2. I need to figure out I have a lot to do. And then book 5 is done. All right, so it's a big challenge to do daily. Yeah, with it taking so much time, it's hard to do it all the things. I try and make art pieces that only take a day to do. Some will take more time than others. Yeah. Monday was bad because I did draw, but I realized that my drawing would take more than one day, which kind of sucked. So I finished it the next day, and I played catch up with all the other things. Right. I need to go AFK for a second. I will be right back. I am going to show the beat sheet one day in a newsletter or something. Actually, for NaNoWriMo, I'm going to do videos for each step because it's actually based around NaNoWriMo, right? So, like day 1, this is the beat that you need to move the story forward. Day 2, this is the beat that you need to move the story forward, right? So each day you basically write 2,000 words, or 1,666 words of each beat, and then by 50,000 words you have a novella and or an outline for like a rough version of a book. I started with 50,000 words for Hope's Chest, and then I buffed it up I buffed it up to 75,000 words, partly because of the genre and partly because I actually needed 75,000 words to tell the story. But yes, over NaNoWriMo, I am going to be doing the beats and posting them for you. They might be live streams, less editing. All right, I gotta go AFK for a second. I'm gonna try something that and that. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll be right back. Okay. Banner. Take that down. Brand. Take that off. All right. We're back. Where did I leave off? Save the cat, beat sheet. All right. Not save the cat, but Soccer method. Next step is that they are clearly defined and well branded, which means what genre are they? Make the cover look like that genre, right? And then take that design and run it through the other books. And so you want to use the same fonts, you want to use the same, sometimes you can change the colors, but you want the identity to be solid, right? The Jim Butcher series, totally a great example of branding. Now, you want to make sure that the titles, the cover art, the book formatting, the metadata, the website, they are all under the same branding. They've all got the same fonts. They've all got the same textures. And sorry, my mom is handling stuff right on the other side of the blanket fort, and it's wigging me out a little. Also, yay, thank you. So ideally, you would do focused releases, right? You would, technically, you should do the series first and then your standalones after. I have specific reasons that I released Hope's Chest before my Anchor series. And what's to say that Panda won't have more stories further down the line? I don't know. So, ideally, I would have done Damned Hitman first and then released Hope's Chest as a standalone, just so that I can use the Lost Leader as a way to bring people in. And that's the next thing, right, is Lost Leader. So you'll notice if you go on Amazon, the first book is often free or 99 cents. And then the books after go up in price. So set the first, oh my gosh, I can't talk, I swear. Set the first book discounted every time you release a book in the series. Discount the first book and market it too. So for the week of the release, basically, let's say I'm releasing book 4 in the series. I'm going to go back to book 1, make it 99 cents, and then 1.5 would be free. And then I'll market book 1, but I'll also market book 5 or 4, whichever book I said I was going to be releasing. I mean, people are going to decide whether or not they want to read 2 and 3, right? Courtney Project has a new video up. That's cool. So it's up to you as to whether you want to use a Lost Leader. If you have a really long series, if you're doing a series that has 10 books or more, then this is super helpful. because you have other books to make money off of as well. If you've only got the 2 books, then you take a really hard hit to your income when you use a loss leader. So think about like whether you think it's worth it. If you want to reach more people, obviously you want the loss leader. If you want to make more money, then you need to figure out whether or not the loss leader is worth it to you. Let's see. So figure out also, what is the purpose? Why are you writing these books? Are you going to impact others with these books? Are you helping or engaging them? Figure out who your audience is, and you can't say I'm my audience. Like, you can't say that. You can basically describe yourself as a separate person, and that's your target audience, sure. But like, my target audience are people who've been playing World of Darkness games since the 90s. Promoting books, newsletters, website, author bio, email list. Do you have any advice for coming up with a big series ideas? I'm planning to rapid release 2, but these will be standalone novels, which will not be as successful as this series. Are they episodic, or are they literally standalones? But what I do is I have my main character. My main character is the main in every single book. That's not always going to be the case. There are definitely books where, there will be sister novels. Sister novel would be like Brianna, for instance. She has the father being the antagonist and the daughter being the hero. And then the next book would be the father is the hero and the daughter is the antagonist. So they're happening at the same time. They're just from different perspectives. Books 1 and 2. A lot of people will do this. They'll go into every... I don't know what's going on outside of my tent right now. Let's see. Keep detailed notes so you know what you're mentioning, so you don't have to read the first book every time you go to write the subsequent books. Definitely a thing. Consistent branding. Publish as quickly and consistently as possible, 3 to 4 months. I recommend what I'm doing is I'll basically write all the books and then I'll release it every season. I would rather they be done. Also, you don't want them to all be the same. So a lot of people like to see the writer or the artist or whoever grow through the series. So not only does the character grow, but the voice grows, the the style of writing grows, all of that stuff. Like, some people, I don't know what's happening. They're all separate stories, unfortunately, because for some reason I can't come up with ideas big enough to carry through to a series. Basically, the big story arcs tend to be save the world sort of situations. For instance, The Damned Hitman is... I'm pretty sure I wrote it down. To save the world from various entities. That's like the overarching plot. So each book is a different entity as the bad guy, and the bad guys get more severe as time goes on, and his personal arc gets more severe as time goes on. So what you want to do is think, what is the worst possible thing that can happen? And then they spend the entire series making sure that worst possible thing doesn't happen. And then, like, for each book, you think, what's the worst possible thing that can happen? And then they have to work with how they're going to handle the worst thing that could possibly happen, right? So that's how thrillers work anyway. Thrillers and horror stories, you throw the worst possible monkey wrench into their plans, and then you see how they handle it. But the detailed notes, super, super important. I use my series Bible for those notes. I also took this journal and I split it up into 6 sections for all of the books. The first chunk of each section is the outline, then come the character stuffs, and then I have like a section in the beginning that is my brain dump, that is my miscellaneous notes and stuff. Let's see. So go ahead and do like a seasonal thing, 3 to 4 months. 6 months is really pushing it. If you are releasing series, go ahead and use that loss leader after book 2, I would recommend. So if you are releasing book 3, that's when you would implement your loss leader. I don't see it being useful. I don't see any profit if you are using a loss leader and you only have 2 books out of that series. I don't see any profit. And you want it to be so here's my battle plan, okay? 4 months is a long time for readers. It is the blink of an eye for a writer, right? But 4 months is a long time for a reader. So what I'm doing is a seasonal thing. So I'll have a book in the fall, the winter, the spring, the summer, the fall, the winter, and then I'll release a box set. Between books, I'm doing short stories that are set within the universe. The upside is my standalone is in the same universe as my series, as my Anchor series. I write down what you want for the characters in the beginning and the end, then brainstorm a bunch of troubles for them. Pick the biggest for individual books. Excellent advice. Then the smaller ones for fun and games. At least that's how I've always done it when working with authors for ghostwriting. Yep, that is a really good way of thinking about it. Absolutely. Are there any other questions? I know Lisa is streaming right now. She was sick last week, so I'm glad she's feeling better. I'm going to open up her thing and drop a like. Also, here's a link if you are looking to do sprints and stuff. If you are looking to do sprints and stuff, there's the thing. Oh, I should be looking at Facebook too. View on Facebook. Because if I get comments, I don't see them. It says I have 2 comments. Oh, those are the comments that I made. Those are the comments that I made. That's fine. But yes, so 6 books total. 5 books that's my story arc, my massive story arc, and then I've got like a 0.5, which is a collection of short stories. So I'll release book 1, then the short story, then book 2, then a short story, then book 3, then a short story. You get where I'm going with this. They will all involve my main character, and that'll be the thing. I will probably mention Hope's chest because Lorenzo is technically in Hope's chest. He is the supernatural aid that gets her out of trouble in Act 2. So I think my short stories should feature my main, and then I can mention Panda and mention the subsequent Cabal in his stories as well, as he knows who they are. Because of Hope's chest. And when I write that story, I will reference Hope's chest. And it will be fun to see where in the timeline that happens for Lorenzo, because they technically meet in the past, like they time traveled and they met in the past, and our time master Enzo basically teleports her back to the present. So it's interesting to see where on Enzo's timeline he meets Panda. That's going to be super interesting to me. Drops like. I kind of want to pay attention, but I'm not. Gotta love references and stories. Yeah, that's a good point. I have an idea that's possibly big enough for $2, and that's only because one of the evils will remain undefeated in the end. It's a good call. But that means you want a lesser bad guy for them. So you have like a fake climax, right? So they get through the lesser bad guy in the fake climax, and then there's like this bigger bad guy that reminds you, hey, I exist, right? Like the Empire, for instance, right? So in episode 1, we have Darth Maul, and then and then we have Darth Vader, and then we have Kylo Ren, right? So they last for several books, but there's always like a mini boss ahead of time. So the main boss in episode 1 on is the Emperor, right? He's our main antagonist. And Darth Maul is our mini bad guy. The Darths are our mini bad guys. Some people would argue with me. Absolutely. But yeah, exactly. So you can make it, I recommend that you make it last for 3 books. Just because 3 is a nice round number. Everything happens in 3s, right? Both on a mystical level and on a, in books and stuff. Okay, we hit the hour mark. Are there any last minute questions? I'll wait for questions to come in. I think today was super effective. Very cool. I'll have to go back and replay what I missed. Good info. Excellent. And the replay will be available. Absolutely. Thank you all for joining me today. If there are any other questions, please feel free to ask me anytime. You can PM me on social media, or you can wait until I'm streaming and you can ask me there. No problem. No problem. Gave me something to concentrate on. Better busy than bored, right? Thank you for inspiring me to do it. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Join me for coffee in the morning. Bye, guys.